This is the Jim Rutt Show. Today's guest is Trent McConaghy.
Hi, Jim. Great to be here.
I've been fortunate enough to know and have worked with Trent since, what was it, like 2001?
Something like that, yeah.
Trent, along with a group of his friends, started a computer chip design software company called Analog Design Automation. Somehow I got connected up with them and liked what I saw, both the guys and the idea, and I became an investor and the non-executive chairman of the company. The company was successful and was sold to Synopsys, 2004, 2005, something like that. Trent's next venture was Solido Design Automation, another computer chip design software company, this time working on a different problem in the chip design space, in this case, manufacturability. Again, Trent was the CTO, and again, the company was successfully sold to an acquirer, Siemens this time. Two very hardcore startups, two successful exits. Trent, you could have done anything you wanted. You decided to do your next venture in the domains of blockchains, public ledgers, smart contracts, decentralized autonomous organizations, and such. Why?
That's a great question. I think overall, I've always been attracted to technology where I see that there can be a very big leverage point. And, with my first two startups, it was certainly in the domain of AI, which is a very big lever. Even back in the 90s, some people saw that. I was fortunate enough to see it and started applying it. Even with the second startup, it was AI to really help drive Moore's Law, which, of course, can influence the world in a really positive way. So in about 2013, 2014, I really started to see the potentials for blockchain and not just, the Bitcoin side, the money side, which, I've been tracking for a while, but what else you could do. And that led me down a path of playing with the technology and talking with more and more people. And eventually it kind of captured my imagination so much that myself and a team of people around me, we started building something that we thought could make a big difference and never looked back. Interestingly, in the last 2 or 3 years, I've managed to close the loop and pull AI back into the loop. So it's AI and blockchain now. But yeah, it's really about working with technologies that can have a big lever to help improve society and humanity.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know you've always been interested not just in the technical problem, but what kind of impact it could have on the world. What impact do you see from this collection of technologies for literally the future of humanity? Open it up, big picture.
For sure, my pleasure. So in a nutshell, I see that blockchains are incentive machines. So you can use them to help to guide people's behavior towards things that can be beneficial for society. And maybe just as a bit of background to unpack that a bit, let's think about what Bitcoin is for a second. Bitcoin, there's a whole bunch of people running miners, and every 10 minutes, someone gets some Bitcoin tokens, 12.5 Bitcoin tokens, and their chance of getting it is proportional to how much security they're adding to the Bitcoin network. So in a sense, Bitcoin itself has an objective function. It's trying to maximize its security, which is defined as hash rate, and so on. So upon realizing that basically at the heart of Bitcoin, it's essentially an optimizer that's getting humans to contribute to help it achieve its objective function. After realizing that, that's what led me to asking, what else can you do? What other objective functions can you come up with and codify into blockchain systems that are really acting as public utility networks, sort of like, the internet and the World Wide Web and all these. They're sort of civilization infrastructure. And so that's really, the most powerful way to think about blockchain technologies. And maybe just as another sort of complementary framing, traditionally to get incentives, there's a wonderful book called How Nations Fail, and it starts with the values of the politicians and the leaders, which they manifest in economic institutions, and those economic institutions are then used to infuse objective functions at the level of individuals and so on. So these institutions are laws in governments and otherwise. And then at the final level, it's really about making it possible for people to start companies and build and so on. So traditionally, this has been manifested via governments, and I'm all for governments that are well run and not corrupt and all that. But what's cool is there's now another way to do it, where you can manifest economic institutions, i.e. blockchain technologies, as public infrastructure. And then these will have their own incentives baked in that can help guide society forward in a positive way.